Well, good evening, everyone. This is Keith with Positively Osceola, another show, another coffee club talk live. And like I said, this is not a prop, folks. A little odd right there. As you can see, it says Hides of Liverpool. I'll tell you that story some other day, or maybe later today. But you know what? We have some amazingly awesome folks that join us on these shows. And tonight, to be honest with you, a very special night because we have Miss Kristen Arrington with us. And she is now the representative, state representative, District 43. So how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Keith. Thanks for asking. Thanks for having me on tonight too.
I know you're busy, and so it's getting prepped for everything that you're moving towards, and a new title, a new role in your life for sure. And like we talked about a little bit before, so we appreciate you sandwiching us in with all that. And looks sunny where you are.
Yes, I have the sun over my shoulder right now. It's a little cold here in Florida, but still, it's been a beautiful day.
I won't go into the details of what we discussed earlier, that it is a tad bit colder where I might be right now, but that is the way it goes sometimes. Hey, we got a few people popping on, so I'm gonna take a second here and share this if I can pull it off without looking goofy. So, how has your day been?
My day's been great so far. We went over to the new office, myself and my district secretary, and so just been a great day.
Very cool.
Also was over at Neo City earlier. The Osceola delegation was there meeting with Skywater while they're in town. So
awesome.
So exciting over there at Neo City.
Very cool. Yeah, that's quite an impressive hangout over there for sure. Let me see if I can pull this off. I doubt I will be able to. Hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and make it official with our little welcome coffee moment. Here we go. Well, again, we want to thank you. And with us tonight is Representative Kristen Arrington. And again, we really thank you for being with us tonight on this show. So welcome officially.
Thank you.
So different kind of year coming for you. 2020 certainly been different for all of us on the planet Earth. But for you, definitely going to be a little different as we move into 2021 with your new role as representative of the State House, District 43. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, for those people who don't know what that is as an elected official, what that role is as a Florida House of Representative? Why don't you tell us what that is in the district you represent, please?
Absolutely. I represent District 43, which is all of downtown Kissimmee, going up towards St. Cloud, stopping at Parton Settlement Road. Also going down 192 the other way to 535. It does get a little hard to explain going down Pleasant Hill and Poinciana because one side of the road is District 42 and one side of the road is District 43. But we encompass all of Kissimmee. We were just newly elected 3 weeks ago, so it's been a pleasure, obviously, and an honor to be elected for District 43. But if you have any questions also where the map is, you can go onto myfloridahouse.gov and you can look at the maps there for the district to see if I'm your representative. Also on the district house site, you can reach each of your representatives that way as well.
Now we're typically kind of privy to those districts and that kind of thing. But when you were describing it, it hit me as such a busy area. It's a busy district that you're representing for sure. So why don't you go ahead and tell us, first off, what was your main motivation? Like I said, you're very busy anyway, career-wise. So what was kind of that motivating factor to lead you to want to run?
Sure. During COVID time, myself, like many of us, were sitting home and kind of spending some time thinking internally and with some of the stuff going on in the state and the unemployment system. And I really felt that Osceola needed someone to step up for them. We're going to have a really tough year with budget shortfalls of about $5 billion for when things were budgeted prior to COVID. So we really need someone in Tallahassee that's going to fight for District 43 and Osceola. It's not just about trying to get things done, but we're also going to be fighting and trying to protect things that we already have placed in here in Osceola with those shortfalls. So just want to make sure that our citizens have all the services that they need and that they're accustomed to. And so I just felt like instead of helping people run for office as I had done before, that it was my time to actually step up and represent District 43 in Osceola and bring their concerns to Tallahassee.
Yeah, and I think that touches on a really important issue. I don't think any of us know exactly how that's all going to pan out as far as the finances. And it's not, we know there's obviously a vaccine looming near, but we don't know how that all plays out yet. And I think, and I worry sometimes when I hear on the media nationally when it's like almost still kind of taken as a given that everything will be honky dory by May. I hesitate to say that would be the case. So that's got to add to the mystery of the new role for you, right? Because you're walking into something that's not cement yet anyway.
Correct, a new role, but also a new era of it. We don't even know what the protocols are going to be for us for session time and visitors and how voting is going to happen. So there'll probably be a lot of changes up ahead.
So then let's talk about the local setting, since that's the question mark that you're kind of walking into and everybody else is walking into. Maybe that puts you all on an even ground though, right? With everybody who's been there and then not there. So the local community, so representing a district like 43, how can the local residents, and you and I kind of mentioned this earlier in our own discussion, but so how do people in the community, if they're in your district, how are they going to communicate with you? How are they going to be able to bring questions and concerns to you as that representative?
Absolutely. Thanks for that question, especially now when we don't have events in person. It is challenging to reach out to people. We currently are getting our district office set up, and it's going to be in downtown Kissimmee inside the old historic courthouse, which for those of you that don't know, that's right across the street from the Osceola County Government Building and the current court. It's also close to Congressman Darren Soto's office and State Senator Victor Torres. It's near the Sunrail station. So it's a really good location for constituents to be able to visit if they would like to in person. Right now, it's going to be the best because I don't have a phone number for you to reach out to me by email, which is Kristen Arrington. Wow, look at that, Keith. At myfloridahouse.gov on the bottom of the screen. If you send me an email, that would be the easiest way to reach me. It also gives a written record. So if I do have to forward, if it's an unemployment issue or it's something, I'm able to forward it to the proper department and make sure that we get them the proper message and get you the help that you need. We also, besides our normal office hours, we're going to be doing after hours, virtual hours. So for those folks that maybe need to come see us or meet with us after work, we'll be able to do that online. Also, anytime you want to Zoom or we want to do something virtually, we could do that as well. My Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is @Arrington for Florida. You can go to any of those accounts and you can send me a message, and I will gladly reach back out to you that way. We want to really hear your concerns. If you have issues that we can help you with, we absolutely want to do that. But also, we want to find out what your concerns are that we can go to Tallahassee and we can fight for you, or we can bring back to the district. So please reach out to me. If you do have any in-person events or outdoor events, we'd like to talk about those, but we really want to be accessible. So thank you, Keith, for the opportunity and for putting my email down there on the bottom of the screen. And soon enough, we will have a phone number for our office that we'll be able to share for you, and that will also be on my social media pages.
That was a little bit like magic, wasn't it?
Yes.
It's almost like
You've done this before.
No, I don't know, maybe a couple times here and there.
But thank you. I really appreciate it.
So I've got to believe, I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. So already something that would be exciting to do as far as being an elected official representing District 43. It's got to be exciting. It's got to bring it's got to bring even more of a passion to want to help people when they're in the situation that they're in right now. And so many people are buried in Osceola County. We're obviously one of the fastest growing counties in the nation, but we're also experiencing a huge hit of unemployment right now. So now I know you mentioned your team earlier to me. So how does that, when you sit down, how do you prioritize these things when everything's kind of all one big, puzzle all together? How do you prioritize what you're going to do first?
Understood. And it's great that you say that puzzle, because it kind of has been coming into this and figuring it out a little bit as we go. My team, I do have Eleanor, who's going to be our legislative aide, and Carla, who will be our district secretary. And both of them have a lot of experience in government, and both.
Uh-oh. Lost your audio.
But what we're doing right now is we're really working together and sitting down with all the government entities and reaching out to all our local nonprofits to meet with them and find out, one, what services they offer so we can make sure we can get constituents with them when they're in need, but also how we can help them. So we're really going through that right now and how, what those are our recommended things. And then we'll be moving forward from there, kind of picking what our options are, because as a legislator, we get 7 bills that we're able to draft each session. So we want to make sure, obviously, that we bring something that's quality and that we're going to be able to pass, and that's also good for our district. So we're going to take some time, and we really want to listen to everybody and have everybody's input. So once again, please email me, and then we'll be able to bring the best thing for District 43 up to Tallahassee.
Very cool. So let's do something crazy. And try to let's pretend you don't have to worry about COVID-19 for a little while.
Oh, so, I like this.
Yeah. So what kind of issues in your district? In my mind, I think right off the bat, I think transportation, because so many people are moving into our area in a typical time period in Osceola County, and again in your district. So what kind of issues would be burning desires for you to try to make an impact?
Absolutely. As you said, for transportation is a big deal in District 43. Also, education is, not only for District 43, but all of Osceola County. Osceola is funded the least per student out of any other county in Florida. So we're at a huge disadvantage with that. So that is something that's very important to myself, and I'm sure to the rest of the Osceola delegation. So that's a big priority. Also, our waters here, Lake Toho is the start of the Everglades. So anything that we can do to help with hydrilla treatment, because we're at the start of the Everglades, it seems like a lot of times people are more concerned with fixing the problem once it gets to the rest of the Everglades. So would really like to focus on ways that we can stop or fix problems here. And education, as you said, transportation, we need so much help. Sunrail is going to be turned over to the local government. I would love it if the state would fully fund that, as they have with Tri-Rail. Also, we do have some great road projects that are on the work program that are going to be funded by the state. So now that I'm elected, I'm going to really work hard with DOT to make sure that those projects do stay back, that they don't get pushed behind, because, as we've discussed, we're looking at a lot less revenue. So not only do we need to look at future projects, but we really got to work on protecting the projects that are on the books now.
Right. So other than just emailing you, so what do you see a responsibility? And I mean this as one of them. So how do we as residents be helpful in trying to make changes? It's not just on, I don't mind saying this because I'm not an elected official. So, everything doesn't rest upon the representative. So how do we work through, other than just singly as individuals reaching out to you, how do you see residents coming together trying to generate some help in making change happen? I mean, I think you kind of led to this earlier when we were talking that, we all might have different ways of thinking how we can do things, but in reality, I think we all come together. There's consensus for sure on trying to have education as excellent as we can. Transportation, constantly trying to be as efficient, as effective we can. How do you see residents, and you're one of them, you're a resident as well. How do we come together to try to help our elected officials represent us? How does that come back on us as well?
Absolutely. And I do think that we all can be effective in different ways. Just as before I was elected, I feel like I volunteered and was a part of other boards, and I felt like I was able to make a difference and, help out Osceola that way. So we can all do it with our individual passions, like someone like me who loves animals and volunteers for Snippet. So I would say one of the things that we could all do is, find something that we love and that we enjoy and volunteer and help out with something like that. It feels great for you, and you're also doing something that's, better for your community. Now, as far as specifically helping, like with ideas for legislation for us, just to give an example, someone had sent me an email who was a grandparent, and they were really upset because they had been raising their grandchildren for about 10 years. And DCF had recently taken the children back to their mother, and the mother was prohibiting them from seeing the grandparents.
Right.
And the grandparents, as you can imagine, I mean, that's horrible, and they're very distraught. So they sent me an email about it, and I mean, it sounds like a horrible situation. So my follow-up questions were then, you know, what kind of legislation, or what would you see, or what would ideally fix this problem for you? So I think, you know, a lot of us as individuals, we see a problem. Sometimes we just complain about the problem. But if we look at a way for a solution for the problem, if it's a problem we're experiencing every day, you know, I might have a better grasp and know way to fix it than someone else who, you know, never encounters it. So look at ways that that thing can be fixed, or that problem can be fixed, and, you know, come with an idea, or come with a way, you know, that you're bringing something to the table. And that really helps us out with narrowing it down and figuring out how exactly we can help you, because it does get a little bit overwhelming, like you said earlier. I mean, there's so many ideas, and there's so many people that need help, right, that it's easy to get off track. So I guess the easiest you can make it for us, or the easiest you can present the problem, is the best way for us to be able to help you.
Right. Yeah, I personally think that is spot on. I think, again, you know, we're coming through an election cycle that's unlike most others, for sure.
Thankfully.
You know, yeah, no doubt. And I think that gets overlooked a little bit too often. I think volunteership does a lot towards mending differences. You know, I think if you're grabbing a hold of baskets of food with somebody who you might not see eye to eye with on a political scenario, I think when you look over at that person and you see you're actually both working towards the good, I think that fixes a lot of things that we tend to think are unfixable. I think that it's something that's going to be a challenge with COVID-19. Those kind of crises tend to have us individually draw back to ourselves. You know what I mean? But I think that volunteership is a huge part in trying to make a positive difference. We talk about making a positive difference all the time, and I think that really does it. So what else would you say that so you're not sure exactly how you're going to engage in the session, correct?
Correct. I believe that we're going to be hearing those protocols later this month, but in January, we'll be going up for interim committee weeks. And that will be going on for about 2 months. And then session will actually start, the 60 days of session will start the first part of March. So I'm guessing whatever our protocols will be, they might even change between committee and session. But, you know, usually in the past, there would be lobby days where different groups could come down and lobby for their cause and meet with all their legislators and, you know, pitch themselves, so to speak. And so we just don't know what that's gonna look like. And there's been talk of, you know, not voting together. So I mean, like so many things, there's a lot of rumors and, you know, wondering, but no, we do not know those answers just yet.
I know I was speaking to John Newstreet, the president and CEO of the Kissimmee Chamber, and typically, we mentioned this slightly real quick, typically there's going to be a legislative update of some kind, however they title that this year. Again, that's going to be up to however that can be done. But I really like that. I like that the representatives can come back and kind of report on what successes and maybe what challenges took place in session. But so I hope that we get to somehow find out how the experience was for you and how things went, basically.
I'm sure we'll do something, even if it's virtually. And I'm also, if I can say that we're going to be, the Osceola delegation is going to be meeting January 6th. I believe it's at 9:30 at the county building, but that's another time where people can come forward with ideas for us, and you'll have all of us together. Representative Tom Cow is the chair of the delegation, so she's kind of setting up the details, and we literally just got the date yesterday, so I don't have more, but that'll be posted on social media, and I'll share it with you as well, so people can also participate that way.
Yeah, and anything you'd like us to try to bring out to the community, we're always willing to try to do that for you the best we can, for sure. So anything, we're getting towards about a 20-minute mark right now. Anything you'd like to share that we haven't really covered that you want maybe people to understand or to know about as you're moving towards the first session?
No, I do want to just kind of maybe put to a misconception. You know, a lot of times, like we were just talking about the last election, and we see a lot federally, a lot of the fighting with the different political parties. And in Tallahassee, and this is what I've been told from everyone there, is that 90% of the legislation passed last year was bipartisan. So I do want to, hopefully put everybody at ease that Republicans and Democrats in Tallahassee will be working together and looking for doing what's the best for the citizens of Osceola. Some of those policies, yes, we won't all agree on, but for the most part, 90% plus of them we will. So please know that we will not be fighting like some of that you see in other sectors.
Yeah, I believe that too. I think that's how you work anyway, so that's a good thing. Look at that, Cindy Joint saying hello to you.
Hi, Cindy. She was the first person I met when I moved to Kissimmee.
Very cool. So you've lived here a bunch of years, right?
Yes. I love Kissimmee, and it's really, really an honor and a blessing to be able to represent them now.
Well said. So congratulations to your husband, Brandon, and being selected as chairman of the Board of Commissioners. Good for him. We appreciate all you guys both do. It's not easy. I mean, this might seem slightly trite, but I don't think it's easy to be an elected official, specifically these days. It's social media it makes it possible for people to instantly communicate, which has its great sides and then sometimes not so great.
Sure.
But public service is not easy in any way, shape, or form. So we appreciate what you do, certainly what Brandon does, and our best to both of you. So I guess we'll leave it at that, as we hope and wish for the best for you. I hope COVID-19 will soon come to an end, and no more sickness, and certainly no more loss of life, but also to make things more efficient so we can get back to doing what we all need to do for sure for ourselves and our families. So again, we really appreciate you being with us tonight.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, Keith. This is my first official interview since being elected, so I appreciate you being so kind and generous. And once again, to everybody, please reach out to me. You see the email on the bottom of the screen there. We really do want to hear from you. Any ideas? And if you have any issues, we really want to try to help and fix those or serve you with those. So thank you.
And we'll make sure we put that in the text of this post as well, so people can reach out to you easily and simply. So again, thank you, Mrs. Arrington. We appreciate you, Representative. And one more comment right there real quick from Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie. I miss seeing these people in person, but I'm glad that they tuned in. It's very nice. And thanks again, Keith, for this opportunity and for all that you guys do. You guys really, really work hard to put out the positive there. And I mean, I know it's cheesy since you're positively Osceola, but you guys really do. And I love Osceola, and there's so many good things out there. And I just really appreciate you guys for highlighting and showcasing those.
Well, thanks. We're honored to do it. So again, thanks for being part of this evening. So again, this is Keith with Positively Osceola, along with Representative Kristen Arrington in District 43. Together, we are making a positive difference in and around Osceola County. Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Good night, everybody.